Hello, I am Sarah from FMicroFarm, and this is July 2013's question and answer session. So what I do is every month people send in questions on various things that they're interested in that we are doing, and some things that we're not. And then at the end of the month I compile all of those questions and put them all into a video and answer them to the best that I can. So on our little micro farm, we're on a 1/4 acre, and we do chickens, rabbits, and honeybees, as well as a garden. We used to do quail, but we don't anymore, and I can tell you all about that in just a minute. So if you have any questions about various items of growing plants or raising animals for wool or meat or just for fun, send in questions that you have for me to fmicrofarm@gmail.com, and I will answer them in the next video. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is our quail. So we started out with 12 quail, 10 hens, and 2 roos, so that's 10 females, 2 males. And I had been reading that quail do best with 1 male for every 4 to 5 hens. So I had 1 male for every 5 hens, and even then I was having a lot of problems with them, and I'm convinced that they're just a really high maintenance animal to keep, because I did try and raise them on my sprouted fodder, which is barley seed, barley grain had been sprouted for 8 days and then fed to the animals. I feed my rabbits this sprouted barley fodder quite successfully, and you can read about that on our blog at fmicrofarm.com. And I've also been feeding the chickens this quite successfully. I supplement the chickens with calcium for their egg laying, but otherwise I haven't seen a decrease in egg laying at all for the chickens. So I figured quail would be okay on this, but I also knew that quail needed a higher protein percentage. So I was also raising mealworms. I still am, I don't know why. And I was supplementing their soaked barley with mealworms. So I figured soaked barley has about 16-17% protein, and mealworms has much more than that. I think it's almost like 20% for mealworms. So I was feeding them both of those. So theoretically, the quail who needed about 22-26% protein would theoretically be getting, like 35% protein, and that just wasn't working out. I had all the quail together in a very large pen. They were on the ground. They had shelter, various water dishes, plenty of food, and they decided to go cannibalistic, which was super fun. And what they did was they literally pecked each other, and within like 10-15 minutes, all that would be left would be a carcass. Literally wings and bones, and that was it. So after a couple times of that, I decided to put them on a commercial feed. I put them on turkey layer feed, or turkey grower feed. I don't know. It was very hard to find unmedicated, because I figured if I'm going to be eating this meat, I don't want medications in this food that the quails would be eating. So I put them on a turkey feed, which was recommended by a lot of people. And even after that, I had 4 more quail die. So that didn't work out too well. So I was doing turkey layer and mealworms, and I even debeaked them at one point. After I had about 4 dead, I debeaked all the quail, which I think that in itself is pretty controversial. I know a lot of people don't like to alter their animals in any way, but at this point it was like there were already 4 dead, so what would be worse? Cutting off the first third of their beaks and hopefully have them not peck each other to death, or just let them go at it. So I decided to debeak them all, not just the males, I also did the females, and I still had 2 die. So out of a dozen quail, I ended up butchering 6. That's all that was left. So I also tried bone meal and blood meal supplements for them, and that also wasn't working. So we decided that it was just going to be better to cut our losses and even though we spent about $50 on buying the initial quail. We just decided that it would be so much better just to be done with it, butcher them all, stick them in the freezer, and just know that our lesson was learned the very, very hard way, but that was learned. So I'm thinking of writing a couple articles for the various blogs that I write for. I write for Mother Earth News and Grit Magazine. So I think I'm going to call it Quail, the High Maintenance Livestock. So I did not have a very good experience with them at all. And I will never raise quail again. So those of you who can do it and do it well, congratulations. I know how hard that is now. So that's my quail update. And other than that, I do have a rabbit update too. And we are holding it's not really a contest, nobody really wins, but it's a vote on the name of our new rabbit. We had a woman that we had sold rabbits to bring a couple back because she felt like she wasn't prepared to care for them any longer. So thank you to this person that I'm not going to name, but she was a very responsible person. She knew that, this is not something she could do anymore, and so she brought them back to me to try and rehome them, and I'm actually going to keep one of them because I really like her, but I'm still trying to find a new home for the male. But anyway, the female that I'm keeping is a chestnut doe. So she is a female. Obviously she is. And then she has that kind of brown and black speckly, it's the wild color. So she has, black tips on her ears and stuff like that. So she's very pretty. She's about 5 months old, and we are going to rename her. So the contest vote, we call it Name That Rabbit, is up on our website right now at FMicroFarm.com. So if you want to vote, I know, wow, you probably can't see that, but here's the score so far. We're doing geek names. So I chose 6, and then one of you recommended a name that I really liked, so I put it on there. So we have 7 names to choose from. Caprica 6 from Battlestar Galactica. We have Inga from Doctor Who, Luma, Maeve, Saffron, Ripley. Saffron is from Firefly. She's probably not one of the best known ones. And Ripley is obviously from Alien. And then Khaleesi was suggested, and she's from Game of Thrones. So if you haven't seen that show, it is so good. I never read any of the books, but I really like the show. So anyway, those are our names, and so far Khaleesi is in the lead by 1 point. Second is Saffron, and third is Ripley. So, vote for whoever you like, and I'll probably close the voting pretty soon here, just so I can update our website. But yes, go vote. Go vote. Look for the post labeled Name That Rabbit. So, we're going to start our questions, and since this is YouTube, I have to cut this into probably 2 or 3 videos. So look for part number 2 for July question and answer.